Now, of course, there have been a number of initiatives from this government and also from the previous government when it comes to cancer research. I think it is something on which there is a strong bipartisan consensus, and that is as it should be. I am particularly proud of the initiatives that we have put forward in our short time in government, the 2 prostate cancer centres that we have announced and the other initiatives and funding that we have put out there. And it's a good thing to see such a roll-up here tonight from both sides of politics, because I think everybody concerned can understand there is a unified view about these issues in the National Parliament. But I wanted to talk a little bit tonight about the DVD, about why it's important, because what it's really about is saving lives. As with breast cancer and many other cancers, early detection is always the best protection. And I think, as Alan was indicating before, some 18,000 men this year alone will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. And it's not just the men. Whatever the cancer, whether it's breast cancer or prostate cancer, when someone in a family has cancer, everybody is affected. We should never fall into the trap of just segmenting these cancers. We're all in this together, and whatever form of cancer it is, it has a ripple effect right through a family and right through a community. But the detection, or sorry, the diagnosis of a cancer is a particularly scary thing for anyone, and certainly in my case, that was certainly how I felt. Fear for the future. What comes next? What do we do? And of course, whenever people are diagnosed and they hear that word cancer, they always fear the worst. I'll never forget when we told our 2 elder daughters that I had cancer. The feeling in the room was palatable. My second daughter immediately burst into tears. We had excluded our youngest son, we thought at the time, from those discussions, because as I had indicated to you before, this was a time that was just out from a federal election. I had opted to go and have my surgery. I wasn't really keen on it becoming public knowledge that I was probably dying just on the eve of an election. So we decided on a process of really not telling many people. And indeed, I've got a vivid memory of coming back here to a week in Parliament, not telling any of my colleagues except my best mates at the time, Steve Smith, that I was heading off. I took a week off from Parliament and went off, I thought secretly, to have my surgery. Of course, secrets never last in politics, and there's plenty of politicians in this room who know that. But one of the reasons my secret, if you like, almost became public, and we didn't find this out until after the surgery and after it had become public through the formal news media, that my son Matthew, who had been excluded from the discussions with our daughters that I referred to earlier, had actually been picking up a lot that was going on in the house. And what Matthew had done, unbeknownst to my wife or I, is some weeks before my surgery, wandered off to show and tell at school. Anyway, it came his turn at show and tell, and he put up his hand and he said that his dad had cancer, but the class was not allowed to tell anyone, especially Laurie Oakes. And after this became public knowledge, the teacher then approached my wife at the school to tell her this story. So all of the best preparation to keep this thing under wraps in the eve of a federal election was nearly destroyed by my son at show and tell. But the point I made in the DVD is a very important one, that we are often at our most fearful when we know the least about what we're facing. And with prostate cancer, or I think many other cancers, we can combat that fear with knowledge. And my experience 8 years ago was one where there wasn't a lot of good information around. It's only been in recent years with the activities of people like Phil Stricker, who's published several books, the activities of people like Professor Tony Costello, who's here tonight, the activities of the Prostate Cancer Foundation, their support groups and so on, the advertising campaigns that they've got behind on television, that a lot more knowledge is out there. And of course, what we're launching tonight is a very, very important part, a very important weapon in that armoury we need to give people the knowledge that they need. Because there are too many people who are not diagnosed and do die unnecessarily because they don't have the information. Because every man diagnosed with prostate cancer does deserve the best possible information, not only on how it affects them, but what the treatment options are and so on. And that is what the DVD is all about. So I say, through this DVD, knowledge is power. It's going to play a very important role in saving lives. It's going to help very many people and families right across our country. And it won't matter where they live or whatever their social or economic situation is, but they will be able to get access to this DVD. And thank you very much to all of those who've supported it, particularly Lang Walker, to make sure that this gets out and about. So could I congratulate Phil Stricker for his work on the DVD and for all of his work, along with many other talented and dedicated people at St Vincent's. Thank them for all of their work in the fight against prostate cancer. It's a great privilege to be here with you all today, and I hope from today we can all move forward to lift the level of knowledge in the community and do something good and save some lives. Thank you.